Afternoon. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. Today, I thought I'd continue with a reading from Kevin and the Three-Headed Alien. Today, we're going to look at chapters 9, 10, and 11. Um, and yesterday, in what we read, Kevin and his friend Jared were trying to figure out how to make the alien for their movie from the story, because there are different types of space aliens you can make. So they had a lot of debate on what they needed to do to make their alien for their movie. So let's go ahead and get into it. Chapter 9, Just Plain Dead, and I've always really enjoyed this illustration right here. There's an illustration of the alien that they come up with. Just Plain Dead, chapter 9. Kevin turned into his house for the first time this week. Jared didn't head over to Kevin's house. He kept walking as he dreamed of three-headed aliens. Kevin went upstairs and was eager to begin writing, so he began rereading his story. Phew. But his breathing stopped when he saw the shadow of three spheres on the shoulders of the creature. Could it be three heads? Three heads! Kevin began writing. Kevin froze in fear. The three-headed creature was lumbering even closer to the kitchen window. It slammed into the window, pressing its face against the glass, its arms raised above its head. On the ends of the fingers had suckers like a squid. Suckers! The pencil moved quickly across the paper. Kevin had a hard time keeping up with the images coming out of his head. The story was coming alive before him. There was no feeling like it. His mom knocked on the bedroom door. "Kevin, it's time for dinner. Are you writing a story?" she asked. "Yeah, it's about a three-headed alien." "Oh, my. I don't think you've ever written about that before. Can I read it when you finish?" "Sure. We're going to make it into a movie." "Who's making it into a movie? Is this a class project?" Kevin felt uneasy about that last question, but he just kept talking. "No, Jared and a few friends want to make a movie together using my story, so I'm finishing the story," he said as they walked down the stairs. "That seems pretty interesting," said Kevin's dad, who was in the kitchen helping get dinner ready. Kevin's mom was talking to his dad now. "I guess we could have Jared over. We could talk to his mom and see when he wants to do this." "We are making the movie this weekend," said Kevin. The room went silent. When were you going to let us know that people were coming over to this house this weekend?" his mom said. Kevin was dead. His parents didn't like not knowing what he was up to. He would have no more school, no more friends, no more writing, no movie deal. He was dead, just plain dead. "Kevin, they can come over this Saturday, but we need to know when you want to invite several people over," his dad said, breaking the tension in the air. Kevin exhaled. Whew, he wasn't dead after all. There was a knock on the door. His parents looked at each other. People don't normally knock at the door at dinner time during the middle of the week. Then they turned to look at Kevin, who sank in his seat. "Kevin, please go check the door," his dad said. Kevin slinked out of his seat and ran to the door. Jared stood there grinning. "Hey, I have some ideas for the movie." "I'm eating supper." Kevin heard a chair scoot across the floor and saw his dad was getting up to see who was at the door. "Hey, Jared, where are you eating? But you are welcome to come in. Kevin just told us about your project." "Yes, sir, it's going to be a blast." Jared was grinning. "Kevin, if you finish eating, then you two can go to your room and work. Far be it for us to stop such creative geniuses." His dad smiled and waved his hand as if he was about to direct them upstairs. Kevin knew an opening when he saw it and quickly led Jared upstairs. Chapter 10, Other People. "What are you doing here?" Kevin asked. "I wanted to see how the story was going. We need more people in the movie than just you and TJ. So in order to tell other people what to do, I need to know the story. Is that okay with you?" "Other people?" Yeah, we just can't have two people in the movie." They headed into Kevin's room. Jared fell onto Kevin's bed and looked at the ceiling as he spoke. "We need to have someone who's going to try and stop the alien. Like someone in the military. They order in the troops and planes to bomb the alien. I was watching an old movie with my dad, and that's what they did. Some general would be ordering people around to attack the flying saucer that the alien arrived in." Kevin got out his notebook and began writing down these script changes. "There should also be a scientist and his girlfriend." Kevin also remembered watching an old movie with his dad. There was a scientist and his girlfriend. He was very serious, and she screamed a lot when the aliens were around. She also seemed to fall down a lot when the aliens chased her. Kevin began writing. She put her hands up to her face and screamed. She tried to run, but she fell down, and the alien inched closer and closer. He reached out with those long, skinny fingers. Then she felt a firm pull on her arm. Dr. Smith dragged her away just in time. Kevin's pencil flew as he wrote about alien chases and near misses. He wrote 3 pages and then put his pencil down. After thinking about how sure he was that his parents would end this movie production and his life, Kevin went to bed that night happy to still be alive. He dreamed all night about red aliens with long skinny hands and suckers on the fingertips. He was very happy. On the way to school the next day, Kevin was still daydreaming about long red fingers with suckers on the tips. Jared took a seat next to Kevin on the bus. Hey, Sarah's going to be in the movie too. Okay, Kevin replied, breaking free from the images in his head. Great. Pushy, nosy, bossy Sarah was in the movie. Why not? More people were needed in the movie anyway. Chapter 11. The Army General. The bus arrived at school. Kevin and Jared gathered their backpacks and headed to Miss Calvin's classroom. Hey, Jared, my dad said I could use his old Army helmet for the movie, Sam said as he rounded the corner. That's awesome, Sam, Jared said, anticipating the question was about to ask. Sam's going to be an Army guy that orders airplane strikes. The 3 boys walked into Miss Calvin's room, put away their backpacks, and began their morning work. Friday had begun. During lunch, Table 3 became the pre-production office for the movie. Kevin, Jared, Sam, TJ, and Sarah all sat at the table for probably the first time in their lives. Changing tables was a very difficult thing to do. Being part of a movie-making group made the change easier to handle. Opening his milk carton, Jared began the discussion. So what time do we need to get to Kevin's house on Saturday? My parents said they would be ready by 8:30 in the morning, Kevin replied. Who's bringing the camera? TJ asked. I got that, Jared replied. I have the Army helmet, piped up Sam, who rarely ever spoke anywhere. I'm playing the Army General, right? Yes, Jared said quickly, realizing that he was born to be a movie producer. TJ will bring over the alien costume, and Sarah, what are you going to dress in? My mom has something for me. Don't worry about it, Sarah responded. Jared and Kevin were thinking about the same thing. Someone needed to tell her that she was not in charge of this production. Jared, what exactly are you going to be doing? TJ wanted to know. I'll be directing. The table quickly became silent. Sarah spoke first. What makes you the director? She asked. It's Kevin's story. Don't drag me into this, Kevin thought to himself. Yes, but Kevin is in the movie. He's the guy who first sees the spaceship, Jared shouted. If he's in front of the camera, then he can't be directing. People do it all the time in Hollywood, Sarah shouted. Her voice was even louder than Jared's. But it's my idea to make a video in the first place, so I am the director. The table got quiet again for a second before Sarah turned to Kevin, looking to settle the matter once for all. Kevin, what do you think? She asked. I'm fine with him directing. He's right. I will be in front of the camera. It is my story, but Jared did come up with the idea for doing this movie, Kevin said, calmly but firmly. We have different things to do. TJ is bringing the alien costume and Sam is bringing the Army helmet. We all have our parts. It's not about who's in charge, but you don't have to do this if you don't want to. We can always invite Kara to do your part instead. Kevin had no idea where that speech came from, but he had had enough of Sarah and her bossiness. The table was again silent. Sam was on Kevin's side. Yeah, I'm okay with having Kara do it instead, he said. Sarah panicked. Okay, fine. Jared is the director. Mrs. Calvin called for the class to line up. The lunch meeting was over. So from those chapters, we saw where these groups of students came together and they kind of all talked about how everybody's different part occurred in making a movie. And so sometimes that happens. When you have a group of people coming together to make something, you can't have one person do everything. And so everybody has different pieces. And so that was what the debate was among these friends at the lunch table. different people were bringing the costumes, some people were writing the stories, some people were acting in the movie. So sometimes when people come together, they have to have a discussion on who is doing what. And not everybody does the same thing, and not one person does everything. So everybody kind of has their part. So we'll check in again tomorrow on the story. Parents, hope you're having a good hanging in there with homeschooling. And kids, message me if you would talk with your parents first, but message me any stories you're writing or any questions you may have. All right, everybody have a good afternoon. Great seeing everybody. Bye.